Alrighty, hello everyone. We're just gonna, give it a few minutes and then kick this off. So I was out shooting some photos in the city with a mate of mine the other day, and I've got back and I thought to myself, why don't I edit these photos live for you on YouTube? Because why not? This could go terribly. This is my first live stream, but it should be a bit of fun. Should be good. I've got some music playing. We're going to be just going through from the import, selecting all the images, what we're going to be wanting to work with, and then going in and delving around and playing around with them a little bit. So hope you guys enjoy. Hope you get some benefit out of this. And if you did want to actually see us shooting these images, I did a POV style type walkthrough through Perth City when we were actually recording them. So yeah. Okay. So this is all of them in Lightroom, and you can see I was actually starting off just shooting some of these images of the architecture, and I was like, this will work great with Talia. So that's what we did. Then she jumped in, and I think there was a couple here I'm kind of happy with, but we're gonna load them up and then go through, highlight the ones that we do like, and then we'll be editing them through later. You'll get to see all my raw images, the ones that I don't necessarily like so much, which is a bit scary, I guess, but should be a bit of fun. Okay, here we go. So all I've done is clicked on an image and I'm scrolling through, and then when I find one that I like, I'm going to add it to my quick collection, which is B. To remove it from your quick collection, it's also B. But we were just sort of warming up and things here. I mean, the only probably usable one's this one maybe. So we'll add it, hit the B button. Then I actually had my film camera, which she had taken, and she wanted to take some photos. So these are sort of these ones in the alleyway. That building we're actually looking straight up on. This is one of myself. Might add this one here. I hope you guys can hear me alright too. I kind of did a quick check prior to make sure everything was okay. But we'll see how it goes. It might actually just drop out and then we won't have a stream at all, but who knows. So these ones are kind of cool. Again, we'll just sort of walk down another 5 minutes, and this was the second type of location. And we're starting to get warmed up, we're starting to feel things a bit better. Get the shutter clicking. Some of Bo, my friend, who I was out shooting with too. And then we pulled around the corner and we found this cool sort of car park, which at first, I wouldn't necessarily call these great images. We then moved and rearranged and changed some things, and as it goes on, you'll see I'm starting to get more the image that I was after. What I was actually trying to do here was align the top of those buildings with a head and try and get it kind of in the middle, which you can see here I do manage to get it, so it's sort of like this 45-degree angle going down, which I think's pretty cool. I mean, it is only my own opinion, but you guys may think otherwise. Do let me know down in the comments if you like it or you hate these. So yeah, this is sort of what happens as soon as I finish a shoot. I will copy all the images off from the shoot, put them onto my hard drive, and then I'll start running through the library and basically, just selecting out the ones that I think are half decent, the ones that I want to edit, and go from there. These ones I had actually decreased the shutter down to about 1/15th of a second, and I was trying to get the whole background blurred per in focus, and you can see when you're taking these, it's hard to get up the whole time, which I missed them all, minus this one. We then moved where my video actually started on POV streaming, and feel free to go check it out. But I wasn't too pleased with any of these. We'll leave these ones for now. I did do an edit on this on my previous video, but we came around the corner and then met these guys, and they were like, oh, take a photo of us, and so that's what we did. And we'll leave them out for this one and move on to these ones. So we headed down the street and found this cool little red thing, and I don't know what you'd call it. It was like a sculpture type thing, but yeah, I really liked how it looked and thought it would make some pretty cool photos. So we started out taking some on the ground, and then Talia had the idea to jump up, which just added to it so much. Like, how cool do these look? Might be biased, but and this is where, like, as you're going through, you might find a location that you like, and then you can see I was adding quite a lot to the quick selection. You then can refine this later. So if you have one which you're like, oh, this could be pretty cool later on, I do recommend just adding them and then like cleaning it up after, and when you've got them bigger, you can see what works, what doesn't. Then we did some classic hand shots. I think that one would work okay once it's straightened up. Then we came over here, and the light in this was just absolutely insane. So the sculpture's just to the right of us, and I saw all this light coming through the trees, and I was like, oh, I have to head over here, which we did. But you can see, like, just the lighting from this was no flash or anything. It was just crazy. A lot of light was bouncing off the building to the right of us too. But yeah. These ones were cool. I just love the colour in the trees and everything. And then here, basically, like, to keep your model busy while shooting, I like to get them to do different activities. So in this case, I just got Talia to move forward as I was taking some photos. And just walk, and it just creates a more natural environment for everything. I'm moving back at the same time, but yeah, pretty happy how they turned out. Now, as I was saying before, this is the first time I've actually streamed on a platform like YouTube. So Make sure if you do like it, let me know, and I'll try and do some more of these when I do go out on a shoot and take some images. Now we're probably getting about halfway now. The rest of these ones are more building type shots. We're running down the main strip in the middle, and there's a heap of different tall buildings in this one. So I love getting low down and seeing the whole building in these photos. I think it just looks really cool, and you can use the buildings and stuff to direct your eyes into the subject, so you can see top of the building and everything pointing down is leading more to Talia's face to make it stand out. Great. And then we came across here. I believe this building is actually one of the first buildings in Perth, like ever, which is pretty cool. And it just had this awesome brickwork and windows and everything like that. And so, yeah, I wanted to get more of the building in as well. And that's what we did. This is straight behind us, so we did a 180-degree flip, and I just love how these images turned out. I was actually trying to get the crosswalk and then the building to sort of both direct your eyes into the main subject, and I think they turned out awesome. And once again here, we were shooting it, and I just got to Leah to walk through. This time, I don't think it worked necessarily as well. I mean, there's a couple of cool ones there, but I think we're going to leave the rest of them for now. Just as a whole, the lighting through the whole shoot and out in the city was awesome. There's these little pockets that you can find. We had a car come halfway through this. We were going, and then a car came, and you can see her pull out. But it's one thing to be careful when you're shooting in the streets. Make sure to look both ways. And then there's some photos of me, my modelling debut. I think I'm better staying behind the camera. There's Bo once more. Right under the red light. Love it. I was very interested to see how these turned out. Nothing's jumping out quite yet, but you know, that's the advantage of digital cameras. You can take a heap of photos, and some of them may not work out, These are just some video shots which we'll skip past.
It's
Pretty cool. This is a piano which is just out randomly in the middle of the street. And yeah, you can go up and play it. They've got a sanitizer station nearby it. But all in all, I think it was a pretty good shoot. Like, it turned out quite well. I got a lot of good photos. We're up to about 72 in the quick collection. Which again, we'll refine and go through a couple of them today, and actually put some editing down on it. And then this is always a good fun one. Right at the end, we were getting Talia to flick her hair back and forth. And so you'll see as it comes up, I start shooting at a higher continuous frame rate, just so I can capture that exact motion and then discard the rest. And when you're doing this stuff, it does take a bit of play. But you can get some cool images out of them, especially when you see the hair just being frozen in the middle of the scene. I think we sped up quite a lot here. Was just my computer lagging a bit more. That one's cool. I like that one. I'll show you it. I reckon that's what we'll start off editing. And that one's kind of a cool face too. And then we did the same motion, but instead of left to right, we just did back to front, or down to back. Which not too sure if any of these really turned out, but yeah, you can definitely in different scenes and that get a different type of look altogether. So it's kind of cool. And then just some random shots. We actually saw this, I believe it's a Ferrari. This guy pulled up and he's like driving past, which is kind of pretty cool. But gonna leave it there. Now, this is the fun part, or what I think is the fun part anyway. Basically, once you've got all your photos and you put them in a quick collection like this, so I've got 84 photos, which I'm pretty happy with, I can come across in Lightroom to a tab which is called Develop. And this is the developing module, which basically allows you to fully customize the photo, make it brighter or darker, or increase the shadows, change the color temperature, without destroying the image. So any of the changes that I make here, I can export and then just reset back, and I've got the original piece of media there, which is pretty cool. So, what I might do, I think I'm just going to switch to a screen share, because I don't believe this is showing up quite right. And if we do this one here, and that one off, you guys should be able to see that now, which is great. But yeah, we're going to start off with some of these ones at the end. I think these were some of my most favourite. Let's just turn all of this off. And all I'm doing, once again, I've got my right hand on the mouse, left hand's on the keyboard so I can access the shortcut keys. And I'm just scrolling through with the right and left arrow till I find sort of the image that I like the most, which I'm pretty happy with this one. And I like to edit from top to bottom, just moving the way down. So starting off with the white balance adjustments, and for this, we'll make it a tiny bit warmer, so pushing it more to the right. Not too much that it just looks unrealistic, but also pulling it a bit away more from the greeny tones. Now the exposure on this one's pretty good. There are a few highlights which just in the top there, which are a bit bright, so I might pull them right down and then overall just increase the brightness in this image. That's pretty cool. And then you just sort of play around with these. If at any time you do want to reset them, just double click and it will bring it back to where you started on that individual one instead of resetting the whole levels. But we're just going to have a bit of a play here, and if at any time you do want to look back at your original photo, I'd say, you can either hit reset here and then Control Z, go back, or if you go Y and Y, you actually have your before and after right there, and you can click on it again and cycle through different layouts on how you actually view it. But we're just going to go back to the single image like so. Now, there's a lot you can do with these images. So hue, saturation and luminance plays a big role in basically the color in the photo. So you can see I've got a heap of different ones through here, and if I wanted to take out a lot of these oranges, I can come over to the saturation orange and pull that orange out of the photo, but you can still see the greens and the blues are still in this image. Let's just double check that this is still all working a-okay. My camera just cut off there, so I wanted to check and make sure. So yeah, we're just going to leave this as is, maybe bump up the oranges if anything, because there's quite a bit in the scene. And over in this, I want to make the yellows a bit more orange too, to just bring out the warmth in this image. And a lot of it comes down to trial and error too. The more you do it, the better you'll get, like anything really at the end of the day. There are a few cool features in here like effects and everything, so if you wanted to add post-grain to your images, you can come down to effects and add the amount of grain that you'll see and also the size of the grain. So you can see if I were to turn this up quite a lot, this image has become very noisy. And you can make it look more like a film type of look or anything like that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, we're just gonna leave it as is and just reset all these by double clicking again. Now, when I was shooting this image, you can see when I pull in, there is actually a bit of grain just in the image to begin with. So what we can do is remove that if we wanted to. I am not going to, because I kind of like it as is. But we are going to darken the corners of this images, and you can do this with a post vignette. Now, a lot of you have probably seen it. In Lightroom, you can go either way and make a white vignette or a dark vignette. We're going to go darker, but you don't want to leave it like this. This looks a bit weird and amateur. You do want to soften it, which you can soften it with a feather, and you can see it pulls that whole vignette in. You can also change your midpoint if we were just going on the face, which is pretty cool. And then if we wanted to bring out the highlights, so they're not being vignetted, and also the amount of vignette, we can then just pull this back and you can see it really just starts to, it's not much, but it really just starts to pull your eyes into the main subject, which is kind of pretty cool. So we're going to leave that one there. Just make sure this is all still running, which it looks pretty good. Now, what I might actually do for this image is come down and give this a try. It doesn't work all the time, but you can pull your red primaries up, your green primaries up, and then slightly lower your blue, and it just creates this like almost tealy orangey type of look to the images, which do look pretty cool in this case. And then you can just play around with it to finalize it so it doesn't look too weird, but I'm kind of liking that, and I'll pull a bit more of the colour out, leave a bit of that in. And I'm getting pretty close to an image I'm happy with. Again, if we were to look at the before versus after, you can see it's changed quite a lot. And that's the awesome thing, I guess, about photography. There's no right or wrong. I just kind of mess around with them until I find something that I think looks good, but yeah, it's completely subjective. I might just brighten up her face a tiny bit. So for this, you can click on your adjustment brush. We're going to scroll down and minimize the size of this a bit. And we're just going over like this, and painting her in. And then we're going to feather it out a bit more, which is already at its max feather. Maybe pull this down a tiny bit. And there you go. I'm pretty happy with that overall. We have our before and our after. And then once that's done, you can either flag it, rate it, and then export all these out later. But I can generally tell because down the bottom here you'll have a plus and minus, which just shows the development adjustments on your image. So you can just sort of go through, hold them all, and then export at the end. And now to pick our second image. Now, a cool thing what you can actually do before that is you can see we've made a lot of adjustments on here. If we didn't want to go through and make these adjustments to every image, you can just copy it, which will copy everything we've done to this image, go across to your next image, and you can paste it, which is going to hold pretty much all the data minus the actual adjustment brush. But yeah, we can do that in here like so. And really brighten her up. And then I might just decrease the flow on this a tiny bit. And then just subtly fade it off here so it doesn't look as sharp as the shadow. And I'm just clicking and brushing and clicking and brushing, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. once again we can go before and after, and you can see how quick you can sort of get to a pretty decent result. Probably pull down that a tiny bit, and there you go. Once again, I have all those settings saved, so I can just paste them straight in, and this time works pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that end result. Don't really want to change much, so yeah, we'll just go done on here. You could brighten it up on the face a tiny bit just through this part, which I think I may do. And I've still got that flow quite down, so I'm just going to increase this a tiny bit, so like this. There you have it, before and after. It's pretty cool. Having a bit of a double check, make sure we're still going all good. Move across to some of the piano ones. Now, even though these piano ones, I'm actually just going to remove this one from quick collection. Now, even though some of these piano ones are actually in a different area, I'm just going to paste over what I've done prior, and it gives you a good base grade to sort of start off with. You can see in this, it does look way too orange, so we can pull that back and make it a bit bluer. And then those blues, I might want to turn into more of a tealy type colour. So I'll come over to the hue, aquas and blues, and you can see I can pull them this way. And straight away we can look at our before versus after, and we've made a huge difference. Now, I probably don't want this as prominent in the blue, just because I think it takes away a bit. So I might come over just to the saturation and pull these down a tiny bit. And I'm pretty happy with that one. Moving on. You can see sort of once you've got in a bit of a groove, how quickly you can make these edits. Make it a bit more Joker, pulling it down to the greens. Now this one I do like the sort of shadows and everything, so I'm going to make these blacks a lot more black just by pulling it down. You could also come into your tone curves and pull down your blacks like this if you wanted to, but I'm pretty happy how that's sitting. We're going to once again come over to the adjustment brush and just paint in a bit more light on the face though. And we've got a bit of a weird colouring happening on the face, so I'll see if I can correct it at all, which I don't think I'm going to be able to in here. So let's just come back to the main image. Okay, so it's to the blue. And just so you know, I kind of keep my hand on Control Z most of the time. Just so if at any time I want to go back and reset or change anything, I can. Which, yeah, I'm kind of liking how this is sitting. I was going to brighten up the face a bit, but I think I might just actually paint on a tiny bit more on a second layer, turn this down a bit, and then bring up the highlights so you can really sort of stack your layers, which is kind of cool and very cool. Not kind of cool, it is very cool that you can do this in Lightroom. It just gives you so much opportunity to fully customize your edits and do whatever you want with them. So yeah, pretty happy with that. And there we have it, before and after. And I think we're going to do probably about one more and then call it quits for today. Hope this has been some use to you guys and you've got a bit out of it. What one should we go with? Maybe go back to some of these ones at the start. This one's kind of cool. I do want to edit one of those ones. Where are they? Here. Yeah, let's do this one. This one. Let's go with this one here. This is kind of cool. Sure. So once again, you can sort of copy over your last paste if you did want to, and we can just paste it on here, see what it looks like. Because this one was a lot earlier, I'm not going to do that, and I'm just going to reset. But yeah, have a bit of a play and see what we come up with. Now what I'm doing here is just making the reds of this actual sculpture pop a bit more, a bit brighter, deeper reds, and I'm pretty happy with all that. And I do just want to keep this one kind of neutral, not play around with it too much, just really bring out those colours and everything like that, which I am pretty happy with right there. Perfect. And there you have it. So I hope this has helped. Sorry about some of the technical difficulties, but I hope to be doing more of these soon. Make sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be releasing a heap more content, all to do with photography and editing, film, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time.